What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome. Sorry that I am late. Hey, peace, love. What's up? You don't know nothing about no Salt Lake? I know that's right. Well, we are here to talk about last night was the season premiere for season two. We are here to discuss all the things, and I have my boy Yocrates here. Y'all know how Yocrates and I do. I'm sorry. And how we come through. So let me bring him up on the stream. What's up, everybody that's here? Ebby says, "Hey Tracy, one of my members in the room. Hey little baby. Hey CC Freak." Ebby says, "Hey, I watched the season premiere, and this might be an okay season." Oh, okay. Lock Queen Brandon, what's up, boo? Hey, Travel Love, another member in the room. Also, a big hell no to them braids Jen Shaw had on. Oh Lord.
Oh,
Falling, yes, Avon. Y'all get on over there and give me some Avon. Y'all get on over there and get to some Avon. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, check out the Avon. What's up, Jonathan? Hey, babes. CC Freak. Yes. Say hi to y'all. He's up here. What's up, China White? All right, let's go ahead and jump into this now. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with y'all. I'm waiting. I have Direct TV on the phone. I have my cable something going on with my connection. So while that's happening, I told Yarrell I might have to put it on mute. He know to pick it up and keep it moving. But last night, not the cultural appropriation. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Um,
it's done it again. Did I just freeze up? Okay. So yeah, last night we got the premiere. It was cool. It was cool for what it was worth, But what they did do, and I was appreciative of it, is they gave us a snippet to make us interested in what's about to come. And I found it to be interesting that they were shooting, but they weren't shooting. So part of me feels Bravo might have known. But anyway, they're shooting. And Jen gets a phone call and she says, "Hi, baby." Now, I'm trying to figure out who this could have been because either it was her husband, one of her children, or maybe she got a boo thing. What y'all think? Oh, shout out to Bob. Thank you so much. Yes, Happy New Year. Yeah. Not looking forward to Yom Kippur though, but
all right, sorry about that, y'all. Listen, I think that when you are on hold, because it's the last two times I've had to call customer service when my system wasn't working. I feel like when you're on hold, they automatically just send a signal to refresh, and then it just seems to always pop back up. Anyway, no, she didn't say she'd been married for 40 years.
Well, no, I was asking everybody, because starting at the very beginning, because I said I found that it was interesting that they were shooting, but they weren't shooting yet, where they had the cameras rolling, but they hadn't actually started shooting. One, I think Bravo had to have known something was going down, or maybe they do that for all the scenes where they're recording while they're getting everything set up. But when she said "Hi, baby" or "Hey, baby," I was asking them, do they think that was her husband, her one of her children, or her boo thing? But they think it was the husband.
Yeah, they said it was the husband. They said her husband called her to tell
Okay,
her they coming. Yeah, they said that it was her husband. But I'm gonna
okay,
tell you, I said in my review, I think it was Bravo. Like at the end of the day, they probably called her office. I'm sure they didn't call and they were like, or because I don't think her husband told them where she was because her husband told her get the hell out of there. But I
hmm
feel like they probably got a copy of her schedule or something like that. Like she's filming for Bravo. Like I don't think anybody on the show ratted her out. I really think it was either Bravo or one of her personal assistants. They might have called the office, said, "Hey, we're looking for Jen Shaw. It's important. It's urgent. We need to catch." Hell, they might have said it's the feds, and they was like, "She at 555 Sycamore Street. You
I
better
mean,
get."
but because this is federal, you can't convince me that they didn't already have things triangulated to where they were going to get her. So I don't think anybody necessarily ratted her out. I think that they just
Yeah, I just
and then
think it just happened
and
to
it
be
was
that day. Yeah.
and it was a helicopter too. So I'm pretty sure like they knew where she was. And then
Yeah.
I was
Now, I
so
think the
bad.
helicopter was a little extra. I don't feel like they didn't even. Like, that was so extra. When I saw the helicopter, I was like, for real?
But
For real?
I enjoyed the theatrics of it. I really did. I was so I was just like, oh, this is great. I am enjoying this. I shouldn't be enjoying this that much, especially knowing that we're not going to get the full thing. But it was enough.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Abby. I think, they were filming them getting on the bus and greeting each other. I think they were filming for the show. They were just sort of pausing till they got everything straight. Maybe got all the luggage on the bus. Maybe they were taking care of some logistics. Because remember, they first were like, "Hey, oh my goodness, oh, you have your skis? Oh yeah!" Like they were doing that whole fake greeting, situation. So I think that's kind of what it was. That was the traffic helicopter looking for Channel 9.
But
It may have been the news network. It may not have been the FBI. But again,
okay.
there are people that get paid a lot of money to pay attention to that kind. The fact that it was already on Whitney's phone 5 minutes after Jen left says
That
that the media
that
had.
excuse me, that was interesting. I'm just like, damn, it broke that quick. Like so I'm
But
thinking like, did they arrest her first and then the story went viral? Like I don't need that was weird.
we also know that Bravo ain't above filming a fake scene either. Like
What?
Bravo wasn't above asking Whitney to pretend like she got it on her phone so that they could get that scene. Like
Yeah.
they not above that either.
And I mean, before we get into the actual episode, I just want to
Come say hi to
say,
the people. Y'all, the royalty is here. There's royalty in the house. Royalty is here. She's coming to wave to the people.
Hi, everybody.
Anyway, okay. Yeah.
I'm glad you introduced me as such.
oh. But I want to say before we get into this review that I really feel that I can't speak for nobody else, but I'm probably gonna drag the dog out of Lisa because my thing is this: do what you do, but we already knew that the friendship between her and Jen was very fraudulent. And it's rumored that they actually do have business dealings. But the fact that you cut her off with the quickness, oh
Well,
yeah, oh
based
yeah.
on based on Whitney, I'm gonna say this. Whitney is a real friend. Whitney is I mean, I don't know what we're gonna see on the show, but I'm saying based on what I saw on Watch What Happens Live last night,
Mhm.
Whitney told Andy point blank, like, listen, Jen needs a friend right now. And that's it. That's all. And he said, well, even if she's guilty, he said, she was like, that doesn't even matter. He was like, so it doesn't matter if she's guilty. Heather was like, no, she's my friend, guilty or not. He was like, she said, what she needs right now is a friend. She said, listen, let's be clear. But now she did throw under the bus because she said, I always knew that her business dealings was a little unsavory. Right. Andy was like, unsavory. He said, well, you did kind of question it on the reunion last year. She said, yeah, I knew something wasn't right. She said, I didn't think it was illegal. I just thought it was a little
Oh,
shady.
wait. Look, wait. Little baby said you mean Heather? No, I mean Lisa. I'm talking about Heather is a different story.
No, Lisa is the flip
I'm
flop.
talking about Lisa.
Heather is the one that was okay. Who did I say? Maybe she's talking to me. I'm talking about Heather last night on Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, I'm talking about Lisa. But go ahead.
Thank you, Miss T Velocity. Miss T Velocity said that she is my number 7 like. That means that there is, a bunch of y'all in here that ain't like it. Okay, because I'm not doing the math right now. Okay, little baby said, "I'm sorry, I'm not hanging around those Steve, especially one who's still an elderly." Listen, I'm gonna say this, and y'all can, judge me later. Don't judge me, judge your mama. I got friends that have done a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they are still my friends. It is what it is. I mean, I'm. My thing is this: I got friends who used to be drug dealers, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of blood on their hands. If we want to just be real about it and be blunt about it, I'm sure they got a whole lot of blood on their hands. Okay. I got friends that used to be fiends, and I'm sure they was out there stealing and robbing folk so they could get high. I'm just being real about the situation. But at the end of the day, if they were my friend, they were my friend. Now, that don't mean that I'm inviting them over to my house around my valuables. But I mean, I can understand if you're a friend, you're a friend. Hey, Jason, what's up, babes? They listen. But I understand. But listen, I understand where you coming from, little baby. I understand where you coming from. Okay, right. Look at y'all with that cute smile. Right, I ain't got no heaven and hell to put nobody in, and I'm listen. Lord knows that my past got some shady some shady chapters in it. This damn self. Okay. So, right, as long as I ain't in it, as long as I don't get indicted. Because I'm telling y'all now, and listen, y'all can quote me, you can screenshot it, you can write it down. I'm telling y'all now, I'm a snitch. So don't put me on it thinking that I ain't got nothing to say, because I'm going to tell it all. Give me the pad and paper, bring me something from McDonald's. I'm about to get it in, okay?
Okay, so I know that I'm not going to rob a bank with
Do
you.
not.
All right.
Do not. Do
Okay.
not. Don't. Do not.
All right. Well, let's jump into
Or the thief who calls me. Now that's another conversation. Now that little baby, that's a different conversation. She said the woman was calling her racist. Now that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation.
And right quick, I wanted to bring up one person's tagline because she had me so fucked up last night. And you know who I'm talking about.
Which one?
Mary.
Child, ain't nobody doing this. We're gonna get to Miss Mary telling people, stopping people in the middle of their prayer. And I forgot to say that on my review. She really did stop that man. That man was getting it in. That man was getting in. He was feeling himself. And she stopped him talking about something. Let me show you how to do it.
Because he was doing too much.
He was showing off for the cameras a little bit. But she be showing off too.
Well, she's a cast member. She's supposed to show up and show up. I'm just saying, I didn't like when she said, "If you come for me, I'm gonna send Jesus after you." I was just like, "Okay, okay now."
Listen. Jesus on the main line. Tell him what you want. She know him like that. They get down together. They that's what they do.
Okay, well, I'm Jewish, so I don't know him, but that ain't the point. I'm just saying,
I don't know him. You know what?
I don't know him. I'm straight pulling the Mariah Carey right now. I don't know.
Listen, I know him, but
better yet, I'm gonna pull a Peter. I don't know this man. I told you I don't know this man.
Exactly, Jason. Orange ain't my color, so I'm not. No, ma'am. Right, really be. They can't come to my house, but we can talk on the phone. Yeah, I'll put something on your commissary. Hell, I've even been known to go visit a friend or two in jail. I'd have been to the jail and visited folk. I'm not above it. I'm not above it. But for the grace of God, go I. But I mean, that don't mean that I'm inviting you to Thanksgiving dinner. Listen, I got family members that I leave my purse in the car if my mama say they at the cookout. I'm just telling you, I got family members that I don't bring my purse around. Okay. So I know I'm not inviting you into my house voluntarily if I don't have to. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Nah, that man was trying to tap in and she damped the Holy Spirit. Right. He was about to listen, he was feeling it. That man was feeling it. He was giving it. All right, let's get into what happened on the show. So we had that first scene. Well, thank you y'all for picking it up when I had to go mute. But we had the whole first scene with everybody sitting, they had to give us the whole, this is what happened today. Jen got arrested. And then of course, everybody is like, oh my gosh. Who told her she was here? Who told them she was here? Oh my gosh. And then we had to do 2 months earlier because remember, they had already been filming before all of this went down. So Then the rest of the episode was pretty much let's get caught up on what else was going on. Now, the other thing that people have to remember is usually for a lot of these shows, they start filming. Generally, the season ends, they have the reunion, and then they don't start filming again for another couple of months. Like, for example, pre-Rona, they would have 3, 4, 5 months in between from the reunion to when they started filming again. And that generally gave people time to just calm down and not be so mad and be so hot and bothered about what had gone down at the reunion and all that other stuff. For example, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, their season usually ended. Their season usually ended like January, February, which means they would film the reunion like January, February, and they didn't pick up and start filming again till the summer. But that's when they had a full rotation. That was before they had to shut stuff down. So the thing that people have to remember about what we're picking off with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is they literally started filming, I think, within 2 months of the reunion. Because remember, the reunion happened. It was winter when the reunion happened, and they started filming. I want to say probably I'm gonna say within 2 months. So everything is fresh. Everything was still fresh. So people are still in their fifis about what had gone down at the reunion. Okay. The alliances that were formed at the reunion was still in full force. Okay. So our first scene after that, we see Jen Shaw at the Shaw Chalet 2.0. Now, I'm going to say that I can appreciate that they didn't pretend like that house was theirs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm glad she said the lease was up instead of we decided to move. We wanted to up.
But did they ever acknowledge that they were released in that home last season?
Not during the season. No, during the season they tried to play it up like it was really theirs, but they knew that the cat was out the bag by the time they started filming season 2, and so then they just went on to say the lease was up. I gotta get it. Listen, go on and just put it out there, okay? And Lisa comes over to hang out with Jen because basically that's the only person Jen is speaking to on the cast. I mean, that's probably at that point the only person who would film with her ass because nobody else was. If you notice, the only scenes that Jen filmed on this episode was with Lisa and with her family. We didn't see Jen with anybody else, but everybody else filmed with other people. Yeah, because nobody's
but then there was the reunion and how chaotic that was. And in addition to that, Jen on social media just, I don't even know what to call it. She was just out of fucking control. So yeah, you're not going to sit down and break bread with somebody that has had very negative and derogatory stuff to say about you, your family, coming at you at the reunion, and is so unstable that is always drinking, throwing glasses, and yelling and flipping out. Like, you don't want the energy around you.
Mm-hmm. And what I find interesting is she
baby said a beast is what you call it. A
beast. What's up, O Street? Hey, boo.
I'm sorry, that was funny. I'm sorry.
A beast is what you call it, a beat, Lord.
Exactly.
Stop saying we don't care, Abby, because we do care. You don't care. You don't care. Thank you, O Street, for all your wonderful comments that you left under my videos, my power videos, honey. Y'all gonna stop telling me that I know too much about the drug game. That's what y'all gonna stop doing. Y'all gonna stop telling me that either I'm in the writer's room or I know way too much. That's what y'all gonna stop telling me, though.
They're trying to help you for implicating yourself. That's what they're doing. They're trying to help you out.
Listen, I just watched a lot of New Jack City. That's all. Y'all remember the era that I came up in? We had movies, Boys in the Hood and stuff.
Okay.
So we find out that her and Coach Shaw damn near got a divorce. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised that it was that bad?
Hell no. I mean, did you see him at the reunion? Like the reunion was very telling in terms of how he was, his mannerisms, having to put out fires for her in the moment. So no, I'm not shocked at all. And I also believe because I was actually recording my review for this and then my computer froze on me, so I said F it. But I was saying in my review, and I'm gonna have to repeat it again, that I think part of it is also he was probably afraid of how that was going to affect him as a coach. Because when your personal life is exposed like that and they see just how chaotic his wife is and her antics and whatnot, that reflects on him, he could potentially lose that back. So part of
Yeah,
me feels like it might have been damage control. Like, you know what, you doing like I know you crazy, but this is a whole nother level of it. You doing too much on national syndicated television. Yeah, we might have to break this off. I think that's what it
right,
was.
right. And I mean, even if it hadn't been for the indictment and stuff, because that's absolutely motivation. But even before that, just the whole, like you said, her antics and stuff, like that's just not a good look. Like, like you can't be at the dinner with the coaches' wives and they done seen you down to the Salt Lake City acting a fool and slamming, throwing glasses, and I mean, and the other problem too, and a lot of people ain't really saying nothing about this, the alcohol. The alcohol being a very big part of that. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, because she was drowning a lot of whatever issues she's had in the alcohol, but then, I mean, also calling Mary a grandfather fucker and all these other different things. Like, that's a lot. It made for
right.
great television.
But it's a lot. And even and that's the other thing that Heather said was hilarious. Heather said Jen is a train wreck on social media. Like even what they would, the fact that she's, accusing people of being racist and retweeting, homophobic statements, and like she is a train wreck. Like take away her damn um what's that thing called? You know what I'm
Social
saying?
media, cell
Take
phone.
away her phone, yes.
I mean, I was even thrown when she made that comment about what they did to her, the women on the show is like putting your knee on my neck, and I was just like, no, 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 mm, wrong word. Like
Wrong
you want to
analogy.
sit and and look, what's so funny is she want to be African American so damn bad. Well, you know what? They finna treat your ass like one because you're not going to jail, or you going under the
But you
jail.
know what, China, I don't think she's always been this person. Like, remember, they've been married for 20 something years. I don't think Jen was this ridiculous. I think this is something that has evolved over time. I think with the more money she made and the more she was feeling herself, and with the alcohol, I think some of her behavior is fueled by the alcohol. So I think this is something that has evolved. I don't think that's who she was when they got married. Did I see? Yeah, I saw those pictures. She was beautiful before she started plumping and plucking and all that other stuff that she did to her face. She was absolutely
Now, do you think that all of her drinking and her antics and whatnot last season, do you think that she felt that the feds was coming? Do you think that played a part?
Let me say this. This is what I refuse to believe. Because this is what they said. They said that there has been an inquiry for a minute, like that there was some sort of audit or inquiry like 4 or 5 years ago, and then the feds circled back around. So I'm saying all that to say I believe she knew that the feds were looking at her. Now, how close they were and to what extent, I don't know. But the reality is if this thing started 5 years ago and you just sort of have this thing hanging over your head, that may very well have something to do with it. But the problem is, unfortunately, that's one of those things where you in so deep, you really don't know how to get out. I mean, it's like a drug dealer. Like the money's good, you've created a lifestyle based on the money. You like when you walk into a room, people kind of go, oh my goodness, there goes so and so. It's like that whole persona you don't, it's a toxic. You don't know how to walk away from it. A lot of people don't know how to walk away from it. And I think that's a lot of it.
Okay.
Sharif and Jen have touched on the back that she has some mental health issues. I think they may have downplayed it for TV. I do believe that's why he stuck around. She may very well. I know that they talked about her having depression, but I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like Coach Shaw was doing a Kelsey Grammer he just didn't have as much money as Kelsey Grammer. Like, I'm gonna give her this, like, I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna let her get this TV check. I'm gonna let her get her reality star on, and then I'm gonna slide out the back door. But then I think the legal trouble was coming, and it was kind of like, oh shit. Like,
Now, one thing I did want to, I know we're going to get there, but not Heather, Lisa, she was just doing too much. Like, Jen brings up trying to have pieces in the group, which helps Lisa to bring up Meredith and that whole thing. And then she's just like, well, I've known her for 10 years, but then I have this relationship with Jen, and I don't even think, okay. If we take away what Jen said about Brooks, I don't even think Meredith really would have had an issue, especially if you know how to separate the two. You know what I'm saying? Like, you friends with her, you friends with me, don't talk about the other with the other. But that ain't really the case, especially when you went so hard for her at the reunion, but you ain't go that hard for Meredith at the reunion. Like that, like if I'm your friend of 10 years and you ain't even going for me as hard as this other person, because even though we like to try to quantify time, like we might be friends for 10 years, but you might have a deeper connection with this person. Okay, cool, whatever. But you not fighting hard for me, like I would feel a fucking way.
Yeah. So that was that first scene. And I agree with you. Like, it's a lot and a little bit in that first scene. Again, the takeaways that she damn near got a divorce during the off season.
Oh, wait.
In therapy, and things are better. Go ahead.
There was one other thing. When Jen said, I will go to jail for you, I haven't gone to jail yet. I was like, well.
Well.
Oh.
Well, so then, and I'm not sure if this is the very next scene because the shit's out of sequence in my mind, but I know we saw Whitney went to go visit Meredith. Now I don't know if that's the very next scene, but that's gonna be the next scene we talk about.
No, no. Oh, never mind. You
go ahead.
Wait, no, it was Heather. Heather went to go see.
Heather went to go visit, and we're gonna talk about drunk Whitney in a minute. Heather went to go visit Meredith.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. That fucking cake took me out. Oh my god. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ooh, she was so drunk. So Whitney went to go visit Meredith. Now Meredith also moved out of her Airbnb and moved into a beautiful home. Now that house that Meredith is in, baby, is gorgeous. That view, yes. Oh my gosh, listen, that house is gorgeous.
She spent all of Seth's coin for that house.
Okay, she sure did. She said, "You ain't got to live here, but I'm gonna live good. You ain't got to live here with me, but I'm gonna live good." Oh my goodness. So again, we're catching up with everything that's going on. Heather's daughter is on her way to college. Heather said, listen, I want her to go where she want to go, have a good time. Her daughter says she can't wait to get her happy ass up out of Utah. She going to California. And she said, I want my daughter to have all the experiences that I never had. I was accused of being a good time girl, but I want my daughter to be a good time girl and own it. Now, I don't know. That took me a little bit aback, a little bit. I'm not living under a bridge, okay, like Ashley mama, but I understand that kids are gonna be kids when they go to college, but I don't know if I'm gonna give my daughter permission to be a good time. I mean, go have a good time, but I don't want you to be a good time girl. It's that might be me being petty. That might be me being petty.
No, it's not. But I mean, but you also have to remember when you have people that have been so indoctrinized by, religion. I'm not talking about faith, but religion, and
Right.
they be so deep into it. Like when they break free, it's just like, you know what, hell, go do what you want to do over there. I ain't even judging. Go ahead. I don't fucking care. Just don't bring home no babies or no STDs, STIs, and none of that stuff. Just go ahead, have fun.
No, right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, and again, I'm not even saying you got to be an angel, because hell no, I wasn't one in college. I'm just saying you might want to choose different language. That's all I'm saying.
But I will say I do appreciate the fact that she was saying that she wants to give her daughter the choice of what college do
Yeah.
you want to go to, what do you want to do, because so often you do have a lot of parents that live vicariously through their children, where they make their children do things or go to places or pursue certain fields that they don't
Mhm.
want, and then you end up with a Wendy Osefo.
Right. And like they said, Brigham Young was the only option. Like a good Mormon goes to Brigham Young, and that's it. That's all. If you are Mormon and you apply to Brigham Young and couldn't get in, then that's a disgrace on you and your family, not. So I respect the fact that Whitney is very much allowing her children to have the freedom that she didn't have. I just want her to choose different language. That's all I'm saying. That might be just a petty thing. I'm just saying, go say have a good time, girl, not be a good time girl. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, Meredith, and then they get to talking about Jen, who's talked to Jen, who hasn't. Neither one of them have talked to Jen since the reunion. And Meredith is still feeling some kind of way. And Heather is like, well, maybe you could talk to Jen. I feel like I'm mixing up some of these conversations because everybody ended up talking about Jen. So I don't
Yeah.
know. But Meredith was like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready for that conversation, because she came for me. She came for my family. She was making comments um about Seth's sexuality. Now let me say this about Seth.
Brooks.
I mean
Brooks.
Brooks. Shit. Let me say this. Then I understand that Jen is the adult and Brooks is a child. I get that. But let's be clear. Brooks' shady ass sat on that show. He even had his own damn confessional. How many children on these reality shows got their own confessional? But you know why he got his own confessional? Because he was shady as fuck and he was making good TV. And so I understand that's your child and you feel like you got to defend your child, but let's not act like your child was innocent and your child didn't make nasty comments about Jen all season. Like let's not do that. Right. He is an adult. He is over the age of 18 and he was talking shit about them. And I just feel like like I'll look, fair. Listen, was they turnabout is fair play? So I mean, how you feel about it? Maybe
um, I'm kind of conflicted because I do understand that Meredith as a parent is like, okay, this is my child, even though this child is technically an adult, but this is still my child. And
Mhm.
even though he did have a lot to say, I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe that he came at her as hard as she came at him. Now, with that being said, me being me. I got into verbal scraps with adults as a fucking kid, and I'm talking about a kid like 10 years old. Like I had, well, not had, because I still do, but a flip ass mouth. Like I talk shit. Like I'm gonna cut you deep. Got into a whole hell of fucking arguments. You know what I'm saying? It is just what the fuck it is. And even as an adult, not being grown as an adult, I was still talking my shit. So if somebody said something back, it is what it is. And I'm also one of those where you can't do wrong by somebody and tell them how to feel and how to react. And the fact that he is of legal age, so he's what, 21 now. So he was what, maybe 20, 19 when the show first aired. Okay, well, you had a lot of shit to say, so you finna get that energy right the fuck back. If you don't want somebody coming at your neck, you don't say shit. And it's also a thing of, if you did want this grown ass woman to sit here and blaze you, you should have never said anything in reference to her.
Right.
So for me, It's just, it is what it is. But I understand Meredith's hurt because she's a mother, and then it's also the dynamic of parents with the opposite gender child, where there is an attachment there. So men are going to be overly protective of their daughters, and women are going to be overly protective of their sons. So that's another
Mhm.
dynamic. So I get it. I understand why she's mad, but at the same exact time, she should have put a button on her son, told her son. Now, in the confessionals, that's something totally different. But the scenes that they had, and he would say something, she could have, da da da. That's a grown woman. Don't do that. Don't say
Right.
that.
And again, I would even been okay if Meredith had said, listen, I said something to Brooks. I checked him. I didn't realize all that he had said in his confessionals. I checked him on it. He was inappropriate and he was out of line. But it's almost like she wants to absolve him, like he ain't do nothing. And I'm just one of those people. I don't feel like, and maybe because I work around kids all day and I don't underestimate children and I don't coddle kids from that point of view. I mean, kids know, especially at that age, they know what they're doing. When I keep saying kid, the boy he was what, a freshman, sophomore in college. So he's not like 5. Okay. And I'm saying, like, again, he had a whole confessional, and all he said in that confessional for the whole season was throw shade at the ladies. And Jen got the brunt of it. Now, I ain't saying that Jen didn't deserve some of it. But again, Meredith, get off your high horse a little bit and stop acting like, oh my gosh, she came after my family. She attacked my first. It was 1 year, then it was a year and a half, then it was 2 years. How long she been attacking your family, Meredith? And like somebody said in the chat, Jen ain't lie about everything. Your son did only have a clothing line of just sweatsuits with his name on it. Okay. You did have a side piece while you and your husband was separated. Okay. And you said yourself that your son is figuring it out as far as his sexuality is concerned. Until he come out, I'm gonna just say whatever. But figuring it out means there's some questions. Because I didn't have to figure out my sexuality. I'm just saying. Figuring it out means that you got some questions. And there's nothing wrong with having questions. That's all I'm saying.
But this is something else that does kind of do it for me, where it's not to say that Meredith and Jen were friends per se, co-workers obviously, but if you had such things to say in reference to her family, for you to have all this energy that she had all last season, why couldn't you just go to Meredith's house, knock on the door, and be like, "Can I talk to you and your son?" And just
I
go
agree.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna say and air it out that way, because I mean, because we can always say, well, this person is the quote unquote adult or is grown, blah blah. Look, ain't no age on Patty. Let me tell you, ain't
Right.
no age on Patty. It is what it is.
Mm.
But for the sake of getting along and for this to not grow legs the way that it did, because Jen had a whole lot of other damage control to try to take care of. This further added to it, and you don't want the LGBTQIA community. I'm sorry, LGBTQIA plus community on your ass. So now you have a whole another group of people that ain't fucking with you because of I don't know. All I'm
And
gonna say is this: Brooks said what he said, and he got that ass tagged. But at the same exact time, and Jen tagging his ass, a whole community came right behind and tagged hers, and that's that on
yeah.
that.
I mean, could Jen have handled it better? Absolutely. Jen can handle everything better. All I'm saying is Meredith is acting like what Jen did isn't something that if she really wanted to work it out, couldn't be worked out. I guess that's all I'm saying.
But here's the other thing though, and I think and Meredith alluded to this and phrased it differently for um, Lisa. But one thing that Jen needs to do is take that mirror and flip it and say, what I'm about to say right now about this person's child. How would I feel if the mother of said child said something about my children? Because I think we all know Jen will lose her damn mind if somebody came for her children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, yeah, I agree. And again, I'm not defending. Well, I mean, I'm not defending Jen. All I'm saying is I think Meredith be doing a lot too. I guess is where I'm coming from with it. But don't get me wrong, Jim was wrong. Jim was wrong for what she said. And again, that goes back to what Heather said about her being a train wreck when it comes to social media. She absolutely, but again, she's impulsive, and I'm not defending it. I'm just saying she's
Okay,
impulsive.
you know what? Let me do this. I'm gonna take a page out of James's book. So for the chat, in terms of train wrecks on social media, who is the bigger train wreck? Put a one for Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac. Put a two
Ooh.
for Jen Shaw. I want to see what they gonna say.
I know what I feel like I know what I'm gonna say, and it might. I know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let you see what the chat say. So why the chat? What's up, DC Kool-Aid, Lisa? What's up, y'all? What's going on, fam? Okay, we got 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, it's almost even. 2, 1, 1, 2. It's almost even.
It is.
Oh wow. Xavier said only one of them is going to jail. Oh, 3, Erica. You know we probably Erica. Erica is getting herself in some trouble
Oh,
with media.
yeah. But
We need to
that's
talk
only
about
been
we need
as
to
of
talk about
late.
Beverly Hills. I was hoping I was gonna have time to talk about Beverly Hills a little bit with you today. We might if we can, because this episode, come on, we doing a lot of talking. Let's get to
Okay,
this
yeah.
episode.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. My bad.
Um, I'm gonna say this. My opinion is if I had to choose between the two, ah, ooh, ooh. I was gonna say at first, I was gonna say Jen Shaw over Candace. And the reason why I was gonna say Jen Shaw over Candace is because I do feel like in a lot of cases, Candace is responding. Now her responses cut to the white meat.
Yes, they do.
Very seldom is Candace attacking first, whereas Jen is just all over the place going after anybody and everybody on social media, whether it's provoked or not. And yes,
Okay.
Candace will own it. Now that's true too, CC Freak. Candace absolutely owns it. Now that's true. She absolutely owns it.
I
But
just can't
that's my
get
vote.
I just can't get over the fact that Candace wished death on somebody.
Well, now you know what? Now when you put that in there, when you throw in okay.
Now look now wait. Now let me be very clear on
Now I might
something.
have to change my vote because I forgot about that.
Let me be very clear on something. I'm not it's one of those where it was in poor taste, yes. But I can't sit here and say that I ain't told the motherfuckers to go play in traffic. Because I've said that to somebody. I'm one of those where I am someone like Candace because I got two catchphrases that I say all the time to people. Don't light the fuse if you don't want the smoke, and if you buy a ticket to come see me, I will give you a show. Point blank in the period. So
The
once
only
once
reason why the only reason why I'm not going to compare the two is because Kyle had health issues that Candace was very much aware of. And her comment was along the lines of, I wish you would just die already, or go ahead and die already. Like, I know you on your deathbed, so why don't you just go ahead and you see what I'm saying? It's not the same as go play in traffic or will you
no,
go to hell. Like, to me,
look,
that's not the same as someone that you know legitimately has health issues or life-threatening health issues, and you throw that stuff out there. But I ain't
really
gonna go
be.
there. I'm not going.
What I'm saying is I'm just being forthcoming and saying I have said some very, very foul shit with the intent for it to cut you all the way to the white meat. But it's always been in retaliation, like, oh, this what we doing? You really want to go? And I even asked you, like, you really want to do this right now? You really want to go there? All
Yeah.
right, fuck it, let's go. And
Yeah.
at
So
that
now
point, it's war.
yeah, now that you refresh my memory, because I had forgotten about that. Now that you refresh my memory, I don't know. I might have to take that back. I might have to take it back. Anyway,
I
let's get
will.
to this other stuff. So Whitney, she's changing her company. She's rebranding her company to Wild Whitney Rose, Wild Whitney, some shit. Anyway, We see her with her step children who are like 5 years younger than her. They taking shots and getting drunk. It's one of her stepson's birthday. My only thing about this scene, other than the hilariousness with her and that damn cake,
Oh,
listen, she tried. She tried with the cake, y'all. She tried with the cake. She picked it up the first time. I said, okay, at least it didn't land on top. It landed on the bottom. Maybe they could still take some of the cake from the top of the cake. Then she dropped it a second time. I said, okay,
yeah.
no. Then she finally got it outside, and that hoe dropped it a third time. I said, you are good and drunk. I mean, good and drunk. Listen, my only thing with
That
that
was a
is,
nightmare before Christmas. Cake.
yeah, the only thing with that, I feel like they were just showing us, you know, basically how drunk she get with her churn. I don't know. I didn't. I mean, other than the cake, I think that's the only reason why they even left that scene in there is because of that damn cake. Because the rest of the scene was like, okay.
I about to say,
I,
unless somebody finna judge her for the acres and everything else, but it's just like shit. A lot of people marry for money, this, that, and the third. Hell, do
the
you
only
now? What I
oh, I forgot the only other thing that the only other thing was, and I was like, was she drunk when she was doing her confessional?
don't.
Because when
Uh-uh.
she was when she said that in the Mormon faith, then the Mormon faith, they teach you to be self-sufficient on a man, and I'm not going to do it. But when she, you know, did fellatio on the bottle, say I don't want to do this anymore.
Next scene.
So the next thing is that crazy ass Mary Cosby. She said that she was by herself for about 6 months of the quarantine because her husband got stuck in Florida and he was scared to fly. And her son was there. She was like, well, he a teenager. He ain't really stunting on me, which that is probably about the realest thing that Mary has ever said was that her teenage son wasn't really thinking about her because he's a teenager and he ain't trying to be laid up under his mama. So she said, I
Well,
actually started talking. Go ahead.
actually, ooh, excuse me. The realest thing that she said was last season when she was talking about Jen's relative, and she was just like, "Well, she had her legs amputated. That's because she had a poor diet, like drink some water." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, oh no, I'm not supposed to laugh." Okay, my bad, y'all. I'm sorry. That was it for things.
So she said that she started talking to herself during the quarantine, and I'm thinking to myself, you won't talk to yourself before?
Exactly.
I don't think you just started talking to yourself during the quarantine. But I will say this. She decided to do a podcast, and it looked like she was herself and a couple of people from her church to do the podcast with, and they were getting ready to listen. She stopped. We already talked about how she stopped that man while he was praying. But I'm going to say this. I sort of enjoyed that conversation she was having about, you know, in your younger life, none of us have, you know, we all did some dirt. And she said, you know what? I never really had friends. People did not like me because I was different and I was quirky. But I was, once I found God, I was good. Now, let me be clear. Let's be clear, y'all. I still question some things. But the conversation, I thought was a good conversation. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to subscribe to the podcast. Let's be clear. Right, Jason. Those voices started a long time ago. Oh yeah, he probably. Oh yeah, I'm sure her husband got a whole mistress in Vegas and in Florida with them two houses all that she said she don't never go to. And I'm sure she knows and don't care. She said they don't even listen. She said that listen, Mary is fine with the arrangement. Let's be clear. As long as the credit card don't get declined, she could care less.
Are you trying to say she Erica Jane? Is that what you're trying to say?
Listen, as long as that credit card don't get declined,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, so how you feel about the podcast and the conversation and all that good stuff? Anything exceptional to
Um,
me?
To quote Ariana Grande, thank you. Next.
All right. So next, we have is the next scene the scene where Lisa we meet the new girl, Miss Jenny from Vietnam.
It could be. Whatever. Let's run with it.
Now, let me tell y'all something. Listen. Somebody said it in the chat earlier that the star of the show is her daughter. Her daughter said they went to go skiing, and she said, Lisa said, "You didn't go skiing." She said, "School is more important to me." She said, Lisa was like, "I bet you get all A's." She said, "Yeah, because I'm not a Bayesian. I'm a Asian." I said, "You know what? I'm done." I'm done. ah, she was
Well,
cute. She was cute.
her mother has mouth from what we saw in the trailer, so it's only natural that one of her children got a mouth on her.
Right. So I think I mean I don't know if I'm gonna like Jenny by the end of the season, but I kind of like Jenny. Her and Lisa, she's coming on the show through Lisa. They've known each other for 10 years. They say that they're friends. They were pregnant at the same time. Their kids are friends. They go to the same school. Yada yada yada. Now she has a great story. She's an immigrant from Vietnam. Her family tried to escape after the Vietnam War, and they were intercepted trying to escape, and they were put in a Taiwanese refugee camp, and then they were sponsored by a Christian family and brought to the United States. And so she absolutely has a story, a very interesting story. Somebody like me who love history, I would love to hear more details about her
But
experiences in Vietnam. But go ahead.
did she have to shade and read her husband
Listen, she called
in
her
front of
husband
a
ugly.
professional?
She called her husband. Listen, she called her, and it was like it. Listen, and she it's like almost like she caught herself, but then realized what she had said, and then was like, "Oh well, fuck it, it's out there now." She was like, from the neck down, I was like, "Yes," and from the neck up, I was like, "Well, okay." Here she go. But we've been married for. Oh no, no, no! Don't.
Ah,
I don't think he's that ugly either. I mean, he ain't winning no contest, but I don't think he's hideous. And even in the older pictures, I didn't think he was ugly, but that was hilarious to me. I said, "Oh yeah, she's going to be funny," because she sat there and shaded her husband on national TV. That's hilarious to me.
so I'll say this, but if she can shade her husband on national television and the professionals, I can only imagine what craziness is going to come out of her mouth when she's with these girls.
Okay, I can agree. I agree because listen, if she's shading her own husband, I mean, I agree. Um, um, they've got two kids. It looks like they have two kids. They look like they got a nice house and everything too. Her husband is a chiropractor. Did we find out what she does? I mean, she may be a housewife. I don't know, but I mean, an actual housewife on the Real Housewives show. But um, did they say that she does anything else?
I didn't. If they did, I didn't catch it.
Okay, but I enjoyed meeting her again. I definitely look forward to seeing what else she's gonna bring to the table. We've seen some of the clips of her, honey, and she definitely is gonna get them something that they can feel. Okay.
And it looked and based off her story, I feel like she might have hands, which might keep some of them up off her. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, okay. So then we have a scene with Jen and her family. I don't care, other than the fact that I feel like Jen went out of her way to prove to us that she had an aunt who had both her legs amputated. And I felt bad for that woman because she ain't come there for that. She just came for dinner.
Yeah,
They said we was having dinner. Ain't nobody say I came here to show off my bionic legs. Ain't nobody do that. Ain't nobody do all that. Ain't nobody do all that.
but I will say, I do appreciate the fact that that was her aunt, right?
Yeah, that's the one that she was in the
Yeah,
hospital with last year.
I appreciate the fact that she is willing to even have the prosthetics involved because I know people that have had a stroke, had one both legs amputated, all this other stuff, and they just choose to not get better and just depend on everybody to do for them. So to see her, progressing, I enjoy seeing that, and that's just coming from someone that has been around people that don't want to get married.
Oh no. Oh, SCK says that she posted that her aunt died this year. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, they just filmed this a couple of months ago.
Damn.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, but well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of. I'm not gonna say that. Next.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want people to really see how heartless I can be. So yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Well, thank you. Please don't. Okay. So then we have so after that is when oh oh after that is when the ladies meet up. Wait a minute, let me make sure that's what happened next. I think yeah, the ladies meet up for lunch. I think is what happens next. And everybody is there again except for Lisa and Jen. And what we find out in this conversation, this is where Meredith really gets deep. And this is where we find out that nobody has talked to Jen since the reunion. And they go to asking Meredith how she feels about the fact that essentially, first of all, let's start at the beginning of that scene where Mary is by herself talking to herself in a damn igloo, talking about something. Well, they got me igloo. God darn.
See, I couldn't do a reality TV show because I'm crazy. I talk to myself a lot, and I sometimes answer myself. So there will be a lot of scenes where they will probably show me just sitting there having a full blown conversation with myself.
It happened in
It's
June.
natural. People do it.
Sorry. Hmm.
What?
No, they said she passed in June. The aunt passed in June. I was just saying thank you. I didn't know when it happened.
Oh,
I'm
that was
sorry.
it. That was it.
Oh, okay. My bad. So Heather ordered everything off the menu times two. She was like, fuck that. I'm a thick girl. I'm gonna be a thick girl. I'm not gonna starve for these hoes. If I let them order, we be eating sharing a side salad. She was like,
I was here for it.
I was here for it. Well, I was here for it. Like, I'm not playing these games for y'all. And listen, when she said bring 2 Reubens, I said, who the fuck eating 2 Reubens? But she was like, we just gonna put food on the table and y'all just gonna pick up what y'all want, damn it. Ain't nobody got time for the waiters to keep coming back and forth. We're gonna film this scene, we're gonna eat some food, we're gonna go to hell on. So we find out that again, nobody's talked to Jen, and they're asking Meredith how she feels about the fact that Lisa is continuing her friendship with Jen even after what happened at the reunion, and how Meredith feels that Jen made some comments about her family and things of that nature. Meredith is basically like, listen, it sort of surprised me, but hey, she could be friends with whoever she wants to be friends with. It is what it is. Whitney talked about the fact that she hasn't talked to Jen, and Heather says she hasn't talked to Lisa or Jen, and that she does feel like she owes Lisa an apology. So how do you feel about the fact that she thinks she owes Lisa an apology? Do you think she owes Lisa an apology?
I mean, I don't, but if that's how she feels, and it could be that she probably owes her one just because she's trying to, I guess, salvage the friendship because of how much time spent in. And she
I'm gonna
probably
say
knows that
this.
Lisa is so self-absorbed that she wouldn't apologize.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I feel like the only reason why I feel like I would say that because I was Team Heather, but the only reason why I would feel like she owes her an apology is because some of Heather's receipts at the reunion didn't quite add up. Remember, like some of the receipts made it look like that she was like, I never talked to you, and we never had that conversation. And then they would show the text messages, and it showed that Heather really had been talking to her. And I was like, ooh, Heather, because I was Team Heather, but the receipts sort of vindicated Lisa.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I feel like she would owe her an apology. But let's be clear. I still feel like Lisa was shady as fuck, because I don't believe for 1 minute that Lisa don't know who that girl is. Like, I just don't believe that Lisa don't know who she is. But at the end of the day, I agree, little baby. At a certain point, like, when do we get over it? Like, that was college. Like, you said you ain't even like going to Brigham Young. You're so repressed by the Mormon faith and everything. Why? Like, girl, just let that go. Just like you let that husband go. Just like you let the Mormon faith go. Girl, let that go. Just let that go. But but that's it. We also find out, unfortunately, that Meredith's father passed away. And so she's dealing with that. She said that he had dementia, but his health has been declining since the Rona. And the one thing she thought that she said, I thought that was deep, was she said, I mentally lost my father a long time ago, but I didn't realize it was going to hurt this much to lose him physically. And I thought that was
Yeah.
deep. I thought that was deep when she said that, and was real. I feel like, I feel like Meredith puts on a lot of airs, but I feel like that was real. That was probably one of the realest moments we saw. And then we remember that Heather and Mary both lost their fathers
Yeah.
while they were filming. I'm sorry, last year at the reunion.
Right.
So, that's a club that nobody wants to be a part of, but when you know somebody who has gone through it, it's a little helpful. So, but yeah, so we saw that Mary is over all of it and could care less about any of it. She's like, why we talking about Jen? She ain't here. Why are we talking about her? She ain't here. I don't understand why we talking about her. And Whitney wants to be friends with Jen, even though Jen been calling her a racist all up and down. Al Gore's good internet. All right, what you got to say about it? Yeah.
I think with the whole, I think Whitney is doing what Lisa did at the reunion, and that is, even though Jennifer wasn't a fan favorite, she had a lot of steam behind her. So when
Mm-hmm.
you think about Salt Lake City before this federal stuff came out, you think Salt Lake City, one of the first names that's gonna come to your mind is Jen Shaw. So I think that Lisa was trying to stay cool with her because, okay, this is a big name and let me stay associated. And I think because for a lot of on a lot of these shows, a lot of it is truly just a chess game. And everybody is trying to play the game. Like, I hate to bring this person up and really be, please forgive me. But the same thing happened with Monique last season on Real Housewives of Potomac, trying to play the game, despite the fact this is their job. So they're doing what they do to get along, but trying to play the game and trying to sit here and stack the deck doesn't always play out in your favor. But that's literally what both of those women are doing. And and like they asked her, why would you want to be friends with somebody that called you racist? Why would you want to be friends with somebody that called you this and this and this?
Right. I feel the same way.
So
Like,
either Heather is just a nice woman. I'm just saying, like, either she's a nice woman or she's trying to just play the game and make sure. Because, and here's the other thing, like, as long as if you're not in the show or in an episode, you don't get paid unless you have it in your clause that you just get paid a salary
right.
amount, and that's it.
And
So
let's
a
be clear.
lot of them try. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No.
No, I'm just saying, like, so some of them are probably trying to make sure they're aligned with as many people as possible to ensure that they get enough things to get paid. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I mean, honestly, and let's be clear, this is a show that's in its second season. None of them have that type of a contract that they can, start putting in those types of demands. Like, even Jen Shaw, and like they don't. Like, none of them do. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. Look, why do you think Ashley Darby packed up her her breast pump and drove 4 hours to Williamsburg to act the fool for 3 hours just to drive back? Well, I'm exaggerating. It's about a 3 hour drive, but neither here nor there. She was driving longer than she was filming. Okay,
Well, look,
but that's
a,
because her ass would be on that damn episode. How about that?
a song comes to mind. It's money, 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 money,
There it is.
money. That's it right
Exactly.
there. That's it.
Listen. It's the motivation. It is the motivating factor. So, um, the conversation really is just about. I feel like that conversation really was about how are we going to handle Jen this season. And again, all of this happened before the arrest. So it's easy now for them to all say what they got to say about Jen because, but this was before they knew how this whole season was going to play out, right?
Right.
So the last scene of the episode, we have Meredith is having Shabbat, which is Jewish. It's a Jewish, or Friday night's a Jewish dinner, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so it's pretty much considered a weekly holiday. But yeah, it's from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset.
And there's certain foods that are very traditional to. I'm not so much Shabbat. Well, yeah, I guess Shabbat, right? There's
Yeah.
certain foods. Yeah, because I've been to a Shabbat once, and it was fine. I had a good time. A friend of a coworker of mine, invited me to come with her and her friends, and it was nice. Um,
I laughed when they went to, light the Shabbat candles, and because I'm sitting there saying the prayer with them, and it's just like, y'all really, granted, they're not practicing Jews, obviously, but it was just so funny because it was like, Baruch Atah, and it's like, are y'all reading it? Like, what are you doing?
right.
Come
When
on.
you heard the daughter was like, "Don't think that I didn't realize that all y'all was like following me." I felt it. I felt it.
So
Um,
I enjoyed that part of the scene, and then also Brooks was like, how do you braid the challah? And it was and here's the thing, one thing that is different, challah braids. I typically just do a 3 braided strand. I believe they were doing a 6 braided strand, which is a little bit more complicated. But I'm just like, oh, y'all embarrassing yourselves on TV. Why are y'all doing this to
right.
yourselves?
Why y'all doing this exactly? So, um, the big thing with that, other than what all that y'all just said, was we see Lisa and Meredith get into this heated exchange about Lisa, basically about Lisa's friendship with Jen. I'm sorry, about Lisa's friendship with Jen and how Meredith feels about it. And Lisa's thing is, listen, I can be friends with both of y'all. I don't feel like I'm betraying you to be friends, to continue to be friends with Jen. Jen is my friend, and I have no reason not to continue to be her friend. And one thing Heather brought up was Lisa and Jen. Well, Meredith, I think, brought it up, was that Lisa and Jen didn't become these tight friends until after Vegas. And you saw that last season. That is actually very accurate. If you follow
Yep.
last season, that for whatever reason, something must have happened down to the Vegas. I guess what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas, honey. Because after they got back from Vegas, Lisa was very much Team Jen. Whereas before
Yep.
that, she was ready to whoop Jen's ass. Like, it was a whole problem.
No arguments there. But one thing that I would.
Meredith is not kosher because she had some damn what's it? No, what's it?
Prosciutto.
That's it, prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
I wanted to say prosecco, and I knew that wasn't right. Prosciutto with the well,
Facts. She's not.
challah bread is good though. I've had challah bread. It's good. It's good.
But one thing I will say is with the whole friend thing is I have a simulation that's somewhat similar, but it's not because the time frame, like I pretty much became cool with everybody around the same time and some YouTube stuff. Y'all read between the lines, figure it out. But friends with or with a group of people, some ish went down, and a lot of people wasn't messing with somebody. And then I ended up going to Vegas, with some friends. And I said to him, it's like, I'm still cool with this person over here. And I would appreciate it if y'all wouldn't say anything about this person, especially if the cameras are rolling, because that's going to make me look away. You know what I'm saying? But I even said to him, like, but we are all grown. I cannot tell you what to say and what not to say. But what I can do is when y'all start talking about this person, I can just remove myself because I can't make another grown person do some shit they don't want to do. So
Now
I understand being in that weird place.
right. Now
What
that's
was that?
facts. You definitely can't make nobody do nothing that they don't want to do. Now that's facts. That is facts on facts on facts. But that was pretty much how this first episode went. I mean, I think it was a pretty good opening episode. I can appreciate that Bravo was like, listen, we're going to work our way up to what happened after Jen got arrested, but we got some shit to show y'all first, but I don't want y'all to think that we forgot. Like, we're going to give y'all this little teaser in the first 3 minutes, and then we're going to show y'all the other shit. And we're going to go ahead and get this out the way.
Don't keep us waiting.
Well, I don't think
it's going to end up.
But I think they want us to show us some of the stuff they filmed before, you know.
But I don't want this to end up like Real Housewives of Atlanta, where y'all tease, stripper gate. It take us a long time to get there. And by the time we get there, we just don't care.
I don't think it's gonna take that long because look, they were only filming. I shouldn't say only filming. They were filming for 2 months before that. But trust and believe, any of the boring shit they're gonna throw out the window. I think they're gonna do exactly what they did. Because if you pay attention, they're following the same formula they followed with Beverly Hills. They gave us a lot of the headlines and the salaciousness at the beginning, like that first episode, the first couple of minutes, and then they were like 2 weeks prior, and we went back and worked our way up to when the story broke about Erica and the divorce. So I think that's kind of what they're doing with us now. It's like, okay, these are the things that happened prior to that led up, but I think they're going to throw all the boring shit out because it looks like none of the other ladies have a storyline, but that's because none of what was going on with them matters anymore. Nobody, if they showed us a whole episode, it even as amusing as Kathy is and Kyle, that whole storyline that we were supposed to get about Kathy and Kyle and them mending their friendship and what happened with the agency and Mauricio and all of that, nobody gives a fuck anymore. Whereas before all of that went down, everybody wanted to hear that story. Everybody,
no, I didn't. Lie. You a lie.
You a lie about what?
I didn't want to hear about it.
Okay.
Now, if we gonna talk about Mauricio and all the trouble that he done got into, let's talk about that because I want to see Cal's face crack. But what was going on between her and Kathy?
The big storyline was going to be the whole what happened because they were going to get into all of what happened that led up to Kathy and Kyle not talking. Kathy and Kyle, they stopped talking. It was more than just about that TV show. They weren't speaking before that TV show. The TV show didn't help. And that's why Kathy was like, why would you do something like this without talking to me? And Kyle was like, you weren't speaking to me. She was like, it doesn't matter whether I was speaking to you or not. That's my mother. Like, then you make me talk to you. But for you to go forward and do a show like that. Oh, that's right. Kathy did quit filming before. But I think she stopped filming because of all the Erica shit. Because if y'all pay close attention, Kathy don't be getting into that Erica shit.
Nope.
But you're right. I forgot Kathy did quit the season. So again, even the storylines with the other husbands and their trouble, it still don't add up to the salaciousness of what we dealing with Erica Jane. Because remember, Dorit and PK got their bullshit going on. You know, I don't know what Lisa Rinna's storyline was going to be, child. She don't need to do nothing but just stir the pot. You know, all of these ladies had stuff going on, but if you pay it, not you, but I'm saying the people in general pay attention, we might get one side storyline per episode. The rest of the episode be all Erica. Because they know that 90% of people watching the show, that's all they want to see. So I feel like it's the same thing with Salt Lake City. Yeah, they're going to give us a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But I think once they get to Jen's arrest, I think the rest of the season is going to be all about her. So I think they're just trying to get the other shit out the way. I mean, we had to meet the new girl, we had to meet her and, all of that good stuff. So, because inadvertently, this episode was still all about a Jen, about how nobody was filming with Jen and how nobody was really talking to Jen. And the only person that Jen was still cool with was Lisa. And how did Meredith feel about Lisa? You know what I mean? It still was about Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy quit, child. Can I do a quick drop on it? Oh, I thought we already talked about it, but I can look up the information. I don't know if they ever filmed with Tori Spelling or not. They said that Tori Spelling was going to be on the show as a friend to the show, but y'all know how the friend to the show stuff goes. If they cut all of those scenes out, it looks like if Tori was invited to stuff, they either uninvited her and told her, girl, don't come. Or because again, a lot of what we're seeing is after Erica filed for divorce. We only had 2 episodes, and we had those 2 episodes where they went down to
the little lodge place.
Right. Yeah. And Tori wasn't gonna go to Lake Tahoe because she was a friend of the show. They wouldn't have invited her to that. So we only had like 3 episodes before Erica announced that the divorce. So if they had filmed with Tori, they probably would like, there's really nothing major here. She was a friend of the show. Ain't no need in bringing that up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. They said Tori and her mommy issues, but we haven't. Right, because they said that her mother was going to film with Kathy because her and Kathy are really good friends. I feel like, listen, if her mama is willing to film a reality show, I feel like they need to just go ahead and give Tori Spelling another reality show on Bravo with her, all 20 of her kids, her plastic surgery, her husband, and her mommy issues. I would be here for it. I'd watch it if they're going to really dig deep into what her and her mama got going on. But I read her first little memoir, because I ain't gonna call it an autobiography, because hell, I think she might have been in her 30s when she wrote the shit. But I read her first little memoir, and her mama was always special. Like, her mama was very Joan Crawford-ish. Like, her mother collected dolls, and every year for her birthday they would buy her dolls, but she was never allowed to play with them. Like, crazy shit like that. Like, who the fuck buys a kid a doll and say you can't play with it? Like, just crazy shit. You know.
Right.
Anyway, that was just the first example I could think of. It was other stuff, but yeah, her mama was special. Anyway, they have Will's ex, Cherie, and Nicole Murphy. Oh, I'd rather have. Well, we saw Will's ex did film with Garcelle, like one scene. I could see them bringing on somebody else, because they said Garcelle done quit again, child. But I think if they throw Garcelle the right amount of money, she'll come back, child.
Yeah.
But they said that she quit. I don't think she quit for real. I think she quit to negotiate, honestly. Because they said she quit last year. Her ass was back. So I would love to see Nicole Murphy. I think Nicole Murphy will put them hoes in their place, honey. Down to the Beverly Hills. But they also said that Nicole Murphy then went through all her money and she is a little desperate for money. So I don't know if she could be as fabulous as the rest of the ladies, but she could definitely get them for their money.
But she would be good TV because she's desperate for the money.
She would be good. She would definitely be good. I think she'd be good TV if she still had all her money. I think she'd still be good for TV, honey.
As long as they
can give it to him. I just feel like she could give it to him.
Just don't bring Andrea Kelly on. If they bring Andrea Kelly onto any of these franchises, I will not watch.
Well, I mean, she's on Growing Up Hip Hop.
Let her stay there.
Listen. So we're gonna do 12 minutes. I'm gonna do a even hour and a half. We're gonna do 12 minutes on Beverly Hills. So how you been feeling about Sutton and Garcelle and PK, and are you up on the? Are you up to date?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
how you been feeling about?
All right. So Garcelle, I want her to give us a little bit more, but I know why she won't, because she doesn't want to be labeled as an angry Black woman, because you can see that she holds back a lot. But I appreciate what she's giving, and I was here for the fuck you. I was here for that. I really was. Sutton,
I was here for that. Because the reading
I
be looking for a moment.
Yeah, she got a storyline. So Sutton, I understand that but she is a bit of a Southern belle, but I do wish that she would have a little bit more when she was talking to Erica. But in her defense, everything she wanted to say to Erica, she did. And even when she first tried to approach Erica said she didn't want to talk, establishing a boundary, and she was being respectful of that. Fuck out. But that's all we got to say about Sutton. PK, I never really seen it for Shrek's little cousin, but I can say that he came with some jewels and he spoke some real fucking facts. I was just like, oh shit.
He
Now
definitely,
that now
spoke some facts.
now Potato Chip gonna have to defend his actions at the reunion, so I can't wait to see
Oh
that.
yeah. You saw did you see
Mhm.
the look on her face? Like you saw the look on her face like oh, you can shut the fuck up.
um, and you didn't mention any of the other ones, but for Kyle, fuck you, and fuck
Oh,
you.
Kyle pissed me off so bad this
Um,
last episode. Oh my gosh.
mhm. And she needed to be in that car with Tom when that motherfucker flipped over. She should have been in the car with him. I just don't like Kyle. I really don't. But see, the thing is, I cannot wait for the reunion because all the bullshit that
Well,
you
they
was
filmed it this
talking,
weekend.
and I know, and everything that you did, Erica sees the playback.
Yeah.
So I hope Erica comes all that energy she gave Sutton and was it Elaine,
Eileen.
and Eileen, and then she get and to also who was the unforgettable heifer they invited to that one dinner that shouldn't have been. What was her name? Teddy.
Teddy.
Yeah. The energy she gave those three women, I want her to get that same energy to Dorito and to Kyle.
I'm gonna say this, and I mean, clearly, I said it in my reviews and stuff, but I was here for Sutton. It pissed me off with Kyle because I'm like, Sutton has said more to address Erica and call Erica out on her bullshit than all the rest of y'all combined. Okay, so
Facts.
that's bullshit number one. So for you to be like, I just want you to tell your truth, Sutton. She was giving me very much Lisa Rinna tease last season with
On
Denise.
it.
Just tell your
On
truth. Just
it.
tell your truth. I don't want you to come off looking two-faced. Girl, if you don't stop worrying about what's going to look like when the show airs, Sutton was like, she said, listen, I told Erica I wanted to talk to her. Erica said no. I said, okay. Like in a real world where there's no cameras rolling, that's it. That's all. If I say, y'all, I know that we left things in a bad place. I really feel like we need to talk so we can clear the air. And you look me dead in my face and say, there's really nothing I have to say to you. I'd rather not. And then you proceed to walk your happy ass off and go to the bathroom. I'm done. What more am I supposed to say? So you're gonna make Sutton have this conversation that Erica was very clear to say, I am not interested in having. And then you're
Because
gonna
she was
tell
trying to
Sutton,
earn her paycheck.
right, but then you're gonna tell Sutton, well, you said the next time you saw Erica, you was gonna say such and such. Sutton was like, I did. I tried. Like, what is wrong with you? Yeah, Kyle was, yeah, she was really, but what I can appreciate is that, I mean, yes, Sutton did what Sutton does. She's a real fragile white woman. But what I can appreciate is that she let Kyle ass know down to that damn jewelry store the next day, I see you for your works. And when Kyle turned around to try to explain herself and Sutton had walked off, listen, that thing had me on the floor. Kyle turned around and was like, well, this is what I was, and she saw Sutton walking away. She gonna tell Sutton, where you going? Sutton said, I'm leaving.
But you can tell that Kyle is production's puppet because she's trying to help
Oh
produce
yeah.
these things, but don't want to be in it. But again, I can't sit here and trust somebody that gonna sit here and air out her sister's personal information when the situation itself didn't warrant it. Because we all could watch and be like, yeah, it looked like Kim is probably hitting the bottle. But you ain't have to sit here and throw that out there because you got mad when she said y'all stole my house.
Right.
So the fact
Right.
that so if you can do your sister like that again, you could do anybody like that because you don't care.
Right. And Lisa run a bitch ass gonna act like she forgot.
She
She
was
gonna
like,
sit
I
there
was
and
drunk. I don't remember.
listen, nobody in a 20-mile radius forgot anything that happened at that damn show. Okay? If you don't go sit your line ass down somewhere. Um,
Especially when you instigated it. And the thing is, like, I wish that Kathy would cuss Lisa the fuck out because Lisa has said to Potato Chip, look, We don't want to do that right now. Let us eat first. Because she was trying to say, let's at least eat first. Then we
Right.
can do all this,
Right. Like I
Bravo
know we
shit.
filming, but can I at least because listen, Kathy says she take her dinner party seriously. Okay, she don't play these games with these hoes. Okay, she take
And,
her dinner party very seriously.
but I wish she would have got her together because it's like you couldn't wait until we at least got dessert.
Right.
You just had to do this right then, right there. And right questions I brought up Kathy. See, Kathy made me lose some respect for this last episode because why now you are a woman of wealth and a woman of means. You know etiquette and everything else. Why couldn't you text ourselves and be like, ma'am, I cannot come? Because it looks now from where I stood, for me it looked like what, y'all fucked up my party. I don't want to do no more events with y'all. But the way that it looks in general is okay. Well, this African American woman is throwing a party. I don't want to attend.
Well, that
That's
might
the
be,
look it gave.
but that might be when Kathy quit the show.
Possibly.
And I don't know. I agree with you. It wasn't a good look. I agree it was not a good look. And I also agree that somebody like Kathy, who is all about etiquette and what is proper, I do feel like she should have called Garcelle. But honestly, I would not be surprised to find out that that was when or around the time that she quit the show. I would not be surprised to find that out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I don't know that. But again, I can't say that that's what happened. I'm just saying I would not be surprised
And
if that happened.
and then even with that, and then with the other ladies and how they were so, almost in disgust of Haitian food. First and foremost, if y'all knew she was throwing something that was Haitian, y'all didn't take the time to do research to figure out what was traditional Haitian food. Y'all
But
don't
I
want to
didn't
eat
get that
fish.
impression. I didn't get that impression.
I got it from Lisa Rinna.
Well, Lisa, okay. The Lisa Rinna is the only one that I got the impression that was an issue for her. Even now, Kyle wasn't crazy about when they described Conk as snail of the sea. I don't know if I would have been happy about it either if that's how it was been described to me either.
Okay,
To be honest with you.
but they eat fucking fish eggs. Come on now.
But it's
Stop
but
playing.
it's all but no, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective because I mean, again, I eat crabs. They call crabs and shrimp the roaches of the sea. I eat crabs every day. But if I had never had a crab before and I didn't know what it tasted like, and it wasn't something that was a part of my daily diet, and somebody described it to me as, oh, it's the roach of the sea. That's not appealing. And let's not forget, Kyle ass is scared of every damn thing. But she ate it. See, to me, what's more important is that they ate it. If they didn't
Yeah.
eat it, like what was more offensive was the girl down in the Real Housewives of Dallas that threw the food on the floor and hid it in her purse rather than eat it. To me, that is more offensive.
I got you.
Try it, and if you don't like it, fine. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is, but the impression that it gives, especially in the climate that we're in, and everything that's going on with the New York housewives, like it just doesn't come off nice.
You know what? I
That's
get
all.
that, but at the same time, but listen, I got to push back a little bit on that. Not to you, but I'm just saying in general. I feel like we've got to stop making everything a black and white issue if this is just how I act. I'm not acting this way because it's Garcelle. I'm acting this way because this is who I am. Like Lisa Renner said she don't eat fish. But she ate it. Now she was obnoxious as fuck about it, but she ate it. You know, Kyle don't eat shit. We know Kyle is scared of her own damn shadow sometimes, but she ate it. You know, they asked questions. They listened to the stories that the chef was telling. They seemed interested in it. I didn't see where they were. Again, other than Lisa, I didn't really see where I didn't have a problem with none of it. And then, of course, we had to hear Dorit talk about how she eats all of this spicy food because she grew up here and she grew up there and her mother was there. Because, again, Dorit always has to talk. But I just didn't feel like it was that obnoxious. That's just me. because I'm not an adventurous eater. So maybe, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not an adventurous eater. And depending on how you describe something to me or depending on what you tell me something is, I might not eat it. So the fact that they ate it, even though it's probably not something they normally would do, I felt like, to me, that was more respectful than for them to just be like, I'm not eating that shit, which is what happened on the Real Housewives of Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not eating no chicken foot either, but I would have handled it differently than the way Cameron ass handled it, but that's a whole nother conversation. I don't believe that Lisa doesn't eat fish, but that's just me. Then again, Lisa doesn't eat anything. I believe Lisa doesn't eat. I'm gonna say this. Lisa doesn't. I think that Lisa doesn't eat a lot of different types of fish. I believe that because I don't eat a lot of different types of fish. All I eat is salmon. I don't eat any other kind of fish. Well, tuna fish. I eat salmon and tuna fish. That's it. I don't eat nothing else. Now I love seafood, but that's the only type of fish I eat is salmon or tuna fish. So I can absolutely see, again, maybe because I'm a picky eater, you know.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, but again, I agree with you that they could have done a little bit of research. Because I know before I went to Africa, I did do some research over to Kenya. And it's funny because we didn't eat nothing traditional Kenyan food that the whole time I was there. But
Well, I mean, it's just like if somebody comes over and eats, in my place. I'm African American and I'm Jewish by faith, which means that you're going to get a culmination of both of those in the dinner, which means that you might want to do a little bit of research if you're not familiar with either or. And most people aren't familiar with Jewish food, so you might just want to do a little bit of research. Just to be like, oh, okay, I see what this is. So, okay, but, that type of shit.
I hear you. And again, I just feel like what we can't do, and this is my opinion, we can't keep bringing, you want us to bring minorities on the show. So they bring minorities on the show for whatever their reasons for doing it, whether it's because of Black Lives Matter, whatever. They bring minorities on the show, and then you're going to micromanage everything that happens and turn everything into race when the ladies are just doing what they've always fucking done. And I'm like, we've got to allow them to just be in the show. Now, shit that's blatant, sure. But I just think that sometimes we are nitpicking. Oh, well, I think they did that because, I mean, would they have done that if it was somebody else? And when we take away the color, they've done some nasty shit to each other. But that's just me. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Anyway, I hear you. It's been an hour and a half. We can ready to get off of here because in case y'all don't know, Yocrates and myself will be over on Scotty by Nature's channel in about an hour. What are we starting at 9 or at 9:30 tonight?
30. I think Scotty he pushed it back like 15 minutes to try to accommodate and see if he could get.
Oh, we lost y'all rail. So y'all join us over there at 9:30 over to Scotty by Nature's channel for us to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac, the episode from last night. Hopefully it won't take that long because let's be honest, that episode didn't really give us a whole lot. But we'll talk about what was there, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.